Good afternoon to everyone, and it's my pleasure to be here and present Bank of Lithuania experience in implementing of credit register that is based on AnaCredit requirements. And just for the information, by saying AnaCredit or AnaCredit requirements, I mean requirements coming from regulation of European Central Bank on the collection of granular credit and credit risk data. Let me also introduce myself. My name is Gediminas Šimkus, and currently I am member of the board of the Bank of Lithuania, but at the time I was the executive of the project dedicated to developing this credit register. So let's jump into my presentation, into its content, and you can see that my presentation consists of 4 sections. I will begin explaining the concept of our new credit register, and after that I will discuss differences between our credit register and AnaCredit requirements. As well as I will try to answer several potential questions, such as why Bank of Lithuania decided to collect granular data in such a way it collects, or how the quality is assured. Then I will follow explaining the concept of using granular data for calculating AnaCredit and REIT reports. In addition to this, I will touch upon how data is used by the Bank of Lithuania and not only by it. And lastly, I will take a brief look into the future of our credit register. So how did we come up with the idea to create this kind of credit register that we created? And the main answer will be quite obvious, given that Bank of Lithuania has been running its bank loan register since 1995, with last major updates being made back in 2011. So we used to have bank loan register, but it was implemented quite a long time ago. And I believe IT world has changed quite a bit since then, and our old credit register could not meet technology and data scope requirements. Having said this, the data in credit register was quite heavily used by the Bank of Lithuania for its many internal goals and purposes. For example, it was a source of information for micro and macro supervisors. It allowed better financial stability assessment. It served various monetary policy purposes and assured implementation of some monetary policy operation. It was a source of information for statisticians. So some new data, so better managed data was required to keep all those purposes fulfilled. In addition to this, we are of opinion that in terms of the efficiency, this data should be useful not for the internal central banking purposes, but it should be also useful for the reporting agents, for the society, and as concerns what concerns the reporting agents. So if they get back the data they report, or if they have this kind of possibility, they could utilize it for many their purposes. For example, for the assessment of the creditworthiness of the borrowers, or by utilizing this data in credit register, we could reduce the reporting burden on reporting agents. For this reason, reporting agents actively participated in discussions with the central bank and made many proposals for the data that they need for their specific purposes. For example, the same creditworthiness assessment. And everything combined, a decision taken was to implement our new credit register, refreshed credit register, on the basis of AnaCredit requirements. New credit register of the Bank of Lithuania was implemented in cooperation with Bearing Point RegTech team, and in fact we use the standard Abacus AnaCredit functionality for reporting to the ECB AnaCredit system. Another story is about data collection, validation, feedback loops, and other functionalities that are specific, if not unique, for Lithuanian case. And to have all this, the custom part of product had to be developed, and it was again developed by Bearing Point. The core of our credit register, of course, were AnaCredit requirements, and national reporting standards are based on standards of ECB SDMX messages. But there are a number of differences from monthly reporting into AnaCredit. First, we have much faster timelines. And instead of monthly reporting, in our credit register, about 30 most important attributes are reported within 2 working days. And this plays an important role because all this data goes into responses to queries made by reporting agents in order to assess the credit risk of their potential and existing borrowers. In addition to all this, this very quick reporting of the most important attributes implies that Bank of Lithuania has the most recent data on lending activities in the country, and as life showed, this played a critical role in current COVID-19 context, when many economic policy measures had to be discussed and then eventually implemented. Another big difference from AnaCredit is that we do have larger, bigger scope in our credit register in many terms. So for example, we introduced about 40 additional attributes that are used for many purposes. For example, we collect data on loan-to-value ratios. We collect data on debt service to income ratios. And this is data that's useful for financial stability assessment or for macroprudential policy purposes. We collect data on loans. We collect data on loan breakdown according to FINREP requirements, data on indications of right of sale transfer, indications of unlikeliness to pay, and this is data very useful and needed by micro supervisors. Data on collateral management is collected, and it's used for monetary policy operations. In addition to this, not only data on loans to businesses, but also on loans to natural persons is collected into our credit register. And by this, we in a way complete the data on loans taken by various borrowers in this market, in Lithuanian market. And for this reason, all this data is very useful and needed in order to make appropriate creditworthiness assessment by reporting agents. And finally, the reporting population is enlarged in comparison to AnaCredit requirements. So not only credit institutions, but also our lenders, for example, consumer credit providers, real estate related credit providers, peer-to-peer lending platform operators. So all of them are also required to report into our credit register. And the reporting to credit register is regulated by national laws, implying that reporting is not voluntary, but it's obligatory. Our major difference from AnaCredit requirements is that instant automatic data quality checks are implemented in our credit register. So most of the checks are based on AnaCredit validation rules, but they are adapted in such a way that incorrect data is rejected and does not stay into our credit register. If there is no possibility to check data instantly, for example, when there is a need to check completeness of reported data, then obviously daily or monthly checks are done. In addition to this, also plausibility rules are implemented, and they allow to compare data with data of previous months, and this helps to prevent systematical error occurrence. In addition to validation and plausibility rules, cross-checking is also done. For example, counterparty data is checked with data from register of legal persons and the register of natural persons. Or another example, credit data is checked with balance sheet statistics reporting and FINRA. And cross-checking implies that we need to aggregate granular data in credit register, and we also need to import data from other systems into credit register to make this cross-checking possible. Having all these checks, better quality could be assured with mistakes found and corrected as early as possible. But it's interesting to note that all those validations and checks ensure quality not only of credit register data, but also data in other reports. It's worth noting also that errors and warnings are reported back to reporting agents using system-to-system integration. And reporting agents have the possibility to check what data was submitted to credit register by using their query engine. Lastly, but not least, borrowers themselves can check data about them online. And if they find any inconsistencies, they can contact either reporting agent or Bank of Lithuania in order to get their data corrected. In my next slide, I would like to share with you some characteristics of our credit register. So we have around 120 reporting agents at the moment, and we get about 500,000 new records for daily data submission. Credit register provides responses to more than 7,000 queries about borrowers per day. We get about and the average response time is about 7 seconds only, with but in many cases it's far less. So how credit register of the Bank of Lithuania integrates with ECB system? Actually, reporting agents do not have to do any special reporting for AnaCredit purposes. Everything what's needed for ECB purposes is calculated from credit register data. So, for example, reporting agents do not have to report such information values like non-applicable or data attributes, as there are corresponding transformation rules that complete these data in ECB AnaCredit reports. Or another example, some attributes and values are broken down into smaller funds for our internal needs, for central banking needs. But before submitting data to ECB, Bank of Lithuania aggregates data according to ECB requirements. Worth mentioning that because of faster timelines to submit data to credit register and various validation checks being made, reporting agents have more time to correct all the errors before Bank of Lithuania submits data to ECB, and this again leads to better quality and less revisions of past periods. In addition to this, AnaCredit is not the only ECB system where data from credit register is submitted. We also submit counterparty data from credit register to READ system. And before submitting that data, some other actions are taken. So first, counterparty data submitted by reporting agents is combined with data from other sources, from, for example, various national registers. And then to ensure the uniqueness of counterparty data, the special rules and procedures are implemented. So how down here in Lithuania we use credit register data? And I guess you have already understood that fulfilling AnaCredit requirements is just part of the story. Firstly, credit register data is used by reporting agents themselves for the purpose of assessment of the creditworthiness of their potential and existing clients. And in the responses to queries made by reporting agents, not only data about debtors, is included, but also data about guarantors as well. And this helps to ensure that reporting agents are capable to evaluate credit risk on a timely and appropriately. And this also ensures that we can comply with some legal requirements on lending, for example, responsible lending regulation requirements that we have here in Lithuania. Data provided in responses to queries by reporting agents is very recent because of the requirement to submit the most important attributes within 2 working days. And responses to queries are generated instantly and are available 7 days a week. Answers are in XML format. So all this implies that reporting agents have the possibility to integrate those responses, the information in them, into their internal IT systems. For example, provide different and interesting services, for example, automatic credit issuance. Secondly, reporting burden on reporting agents is step-by-step reduced because we can utilize granular data and prepare some aggregation, some aggregated reports ourselves. And we keep a view that this should lead eventually that reporting agents transfer resources from preparation of some regular reporting to better quality assurance of granular data in credit register. Thirdly, data is also used, as I mentioned, for various internal Bank of Lithuania purposes and functions, such as financial stability, macro-prudential policy, monetary policy, micro-supervision, research, statistics. But all this means that we need to ensure that this data could be easily accessed by business intelligence tools, such as Power BI, R software, etc. And credit register, our credit register, has integrations with other internal systems. And this makes possible data available for various very interesting research topics. Looking forward, we see many possibilities for other organizations to get data for their various reason purposes. And even now, data from credit register is available to National Tax Authority as an example. Finally, having actual data, very recent data, leads to faster and better decision-making process. And in this COVID-19 context, we saw that our new credit register opened some new avenues. We could monitor changes in volumes and trends of lending on a very timely basis. We could respond quickly to various questions made by governmental organizations, businesses related with lending before and during the pandemic crisis. Or we could ourselves publish very actual lending data on our website. And in my next slide, I have an example of this. We created a special section called COVID-19 Economic and Financial Pulse, where information on lending and economics, so much needed by various governmental institutions, credit providers, businesses, and society, was disclosed. And if you are interested, you can find it and find much more on our website. So what's next? We are working intensively with improvement of services to reporting agents. And communication with them is managed through our service desk. We have frequently asked questions that are constantly updated. We conduct surveys about satisfaction of reporting agents. And this takes an important part of our future work, namely improvement of services. We also consider creating personalized area where reporting agents could compare their data with all the market data in various breakdowns. In addition, there are intentions to enlarge list of reporting agents that report to credit register, as this is a way, in fact, for them to get data from credit register and then use for their internal purposes. And they also have discussions about possibilities to enrich the responses to our credit register with potentially with cross-border loan information. New credit register also enriches our statistical reporting. Industry has already expressed its needs and they are working on them, but we also consider working further into open data direction. So for example, we consider possibilities for our organizations to get data for their various reason purposes if natural or legal person agrees sharing his own data. And this may create new services, new products in the market. Secondly, strictly anonymized granular data could be made available for researchers to analyze it with different tools and different breakdowns. And this could again create value added to society from useful economic policy insight view. And finally, data in credit register is a great source of data for modern data science technologies. Artificial intelligence and machine learning could be used not only for data anonymization or finding data anomalies, but it could also serve finding answers to the questions made by researchers, made by various users. It could also reduce manual workload, and modern technologies could help using all the data really efficiently. And this could be the key to success for every regulator. And now I have my last slide. I would like to thank you for listening to me, and I will be very happy to take your questions now. Thank you.